What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? I told y'all we rolling. We got a full agenda today. We rolling. So, a couple of months ago, the documentary on Gary Coleman was released. I believe it was on Hulu, and we talked about it. We watched the documentary. We reviewed it over here, and at the end of the documentary, we found out that Gary Coleman died of blunt force trauma. He fell in his home and he died from his injuries. Now, I always assumed that Gary Coleman had died related to his kidney disease. I didn't follow it that closely. When they said Gary Coleman died, I never really went and read up on the cause of death or anything. So, what we found out in the documentary was that there has been speculation for many, many, many years that his on again, off again wife, and when I say on again, off again, it's because they were married, but then they broke up, they filed for divorce, but then they got back together, and they had a very tumultuous relationship where DV was accused on both sides and other things like that. Well, allegedly, there has been speculation that she may have either A, caused him to fall, which led to the death, or B, he fell, but she did not provide assistance that could have saved him. So during the documentary, we heard her 911 call, and we literally heard the paramedics telling her to do certain things to try and help him until the police arrived. And she was like, no, I can't do that. Oh my gosh, there's so much blood. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. So she decided to voluntarily take a lie detector test because she said she wanted to clear her name. So let's read this article which talks about this lie detector, the lie detector test and the results, and then y'all tell me what y'all think. So this article is coming from People Magazine, and we're going to read through the article. It says, Gary Coleman's ex-wife Shannon Price shocking lie detector test. What does it say about his fatal fall? Now, she took the lie detector test for a television show, which, you know, I guess she needs to check, child. I guess she needs to check. The 2-hour premiere of Lie Detector Truth or Deception airs on July the 10th at 9 p.m. on A&E. Gary Coleman's ex-wife, Shannon Price, is putting her name on the line following 15 years. I didn't realize it had been 15 years since Gary Coleman's been gone, y'all. Following 15 years of speculation about her involvement in the late actor's sudden death, she continues to maintain her innocence. Now, people can exclusively reveal the shocking results of a voluntary lie detector test she took in the A&E upcoming series Lie Detector Truth or Deception. She states, my whole life have had the odds working against me. And so I'm really hoping for a good outcome. Not everyone is perfect at taking a polygraph test, but I have a glimmer of hope that this will work out in my favor. And people will be like, okay, you know what? She's just a normal girl that had an unfortunate situation happen. What you mean a glimmer of hope? I don't even understand. Okay, girl. The Different Strokes star and Price got married in August of 2007, but divorced the following year. Although they continued living together in May of 2010, Coleman suffered an intracranial hemorrhage after falling in the Utah home they shared. Price claimed that she found Coleman in a pool of blood after his fall. His death was ruled accidental, and Price was never charged with a crime. In a recording of her 911 call reporting the incident, Price could be heard refusing to listen to the operator's instructions to help her former husband. 2 days after being placed in a medically induced coma, Price removed Coleman from life support. And I feel like I remember that in the documentary, they talked about how she did it so fast before a lot of people had a chance to come and say their final goodbyes and things of that nature. I did see where they said that. Okay. Chuck said the second is plausible. It could be. People act differently under duress. Price admitted that she was a little nervous to hear the results of the polygraph exam. She stated, "You pushed me a little bit yesterday," she told the examiner, a former FBI agent, George Olivo, of his questioning. She said, "It was stressful. I'm not going to lie. This really put into perspective like, hey, Shannon, this is you. This is your character." Olivia acknowledging that he had to reel Price in to make sure she was taking the exam seriously, then laid out several steps he went through to determine the final results. First, evaluating them himself, then running the data through a computer system, and finally getting a second reading from a fellow retired FBI examiner. So 2 people read the results and a computer. Okay. All 3 independent results are the same, he said, emphasizing his confidence in their validity. Okay, so 2 people in a computer. Okay, 2 people in a computer. Am I planning to review the Bunny Ranch documentary? I didn't even know there was a Bunny Ranch documentary. Probably not, but I can't say for certain. Child, I got to get to the 2 documentaries I want to get to. I ain't had a chance to look at none of that this week. But we're going to get to them. Yeah, they were divorced, but they continued to live together after the divorce. I wonder if he had changed his beneficiary, but I don't think Coleman had access to kill over. If she did it, she was probably sick of him. Well, there was a question about that as well when it came time, because they were divorced. She was saying that they were still common law, and anyway, child, it was a whole mess. It was a whole mess. Okay. Olivia posed 3 specific questions to Price, but only one of her answers showed a definitive finding. Hold on, y'all. My phone keep going off. Give me a second. The first question Olivia asked Price was if she ever struck Coleman during their relationship. She answered no, but the findings were inconclusive. Now, in the documentary, it talked about the fact that both of them were violent towards each other. So I don't know why she would say no when it was documented that they were both violent towards each other. So to me, that already tells me you wasn't even trying to be truthful, because you lied about something that was real easy. Like, yeah, we had confrontations. What up, Princess? Hey, Quake. Hey, y'all coming in. So that was inconclusive. She said, "I would never hurt him in that manner or that sense because his life was so fragile. Daily life was a struggle for him, and I would never want to hurt him." Girl. Y'all need to go back and read that documentary. That's all I'm going to say about it. I mean, watch it. I said read it. Go back and watch that documentary, child. That's all I'm going to say. The next question addressed whether Price intentionally withheld proper aid from Coleman in the aftermath of his fall. She denied the allegation, and the results were once again inconclusive. That statistically raises a little bit of an eyebrow, Olivia said. Then again, you're the same person sitting there who's still nervous and who's still a bit distracted. But here's the way I look at it. This question having to deal with you doing everything that you could possibly do for Gary when he failed. When you called 911 is an issue that you've had in your mind for 14 years and it's still not resolved in your mind. Price then confessed, as far as rendering aid, I could have helped him a little bit more. So then why didn't you say yes on the lie detector test then? If you feel like you could have done more, then girl, you should have said yes. Olivia says, I will say the operator could have helped as well a little bit by asking me more specific questions. Girl, I don't know what more the operator could have done. She told you what to do. She added, but Olivia pushed back and said, forget the 911 operator. You were there. Little bit of tough love now. You're not the victim here. He's the victim. Ooh. Okay, Olivia. Okay, then. The last question Olivia posed directly asked Price if she physically caused Coleman's fall. While she insisted that she did not, the lie detector found deception indicated. I'm going to read that one more time. The last question Olivia posed directly asked Price if she physically caused Coleman's fall. While she insisted that she did not, the lie detector found deception indicated. You failed the exam regarding Gary's fall, Olivia stated. There's two things I know for sure, Shannon. One, you were not completely honest with me yesterday during your polygraph. And two, the other thing I know that's 100% certain and that there's more to this story that hasn't been told. The body never lies. The body always tells the truth. And your body on that lie detector test spoke loud and clear. There's something that caused you to fail this test. Price stated that she was not surprised by the results because the examiner was relying on a machine. Girl, you knew you were relying on a machine. You knew that you were relying on a machine when you decided to take a lie detector test. So what you mean? What, girl, what? I know where I'm at. I'm at peace, she told host Tony Harris. There's a reason I'm not in prison. There's a legit reason for that. It's because they did a thorough investigation. Olivia, however, reminded her there's also a thing called lack of evidence. If you say you have nothing to hide, I say you know exactly why you failed this test, he declared. Sadly, my professional opinion is the truth is not on your side today. And I figured it wouldn't be, Price interjected, to which Olivia said, because you already knew you were going to fail and you know why you did. Baby! Ah! He said, because you already knew you was going to fail and you know why you were going to fail, because you're lying. Now, listen, let's be clear. This is a television show, okay? We got to put some things in perspective. This is a television show, but A&E is not like Bravo. You know what I'm saying? A&E is not giving us Bravo type stuff. That doesn't mean that they're infallible. Also, lie detector tests are not admissible in court for the exact reason that they cannot always be deemed as reliable. However, what y'all think? What y'all think? And could this be enough for somebody to go to the Utah Police Department? You know what I'm saying? And be like, hey, not her and OJ did. Hold on a second, y'all. I gotta listen to something real quick because some one of my eyes. This ain't the same eye in the sky, but one of my eye in the skies is telling me something. Hold on. I ain't gonna repeat none of that. But what all I'm gonna say is that there have been questions. There have been questions. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting if this goes anywhere, or if it's just one of those things that ends up being like a, like an urban legend that just kind of hangs over her head forever. I don't think a lie detector test on a television show is enough to open up an investigation, but I've seen investigations opened for less, especially since she's already been a suspect. I'm gonna be honest and tell you what I think. I do not think it was anything premeditated. I think they were probably fighting and arguing. He fell. But I don't think she premeditated and did it. I don't. But I think that it could have just been one of those situations because, like I said, they had a history of violence. So, did she get his money? No, I don't believe she did. I think if I remember correctly, that his estate was tied up, and I don't think she got. I think it went to the courts and stuff. Well, look here. Hey, ODS. Child, I woke up this morning and I was listening to your live from last night. Child, they was cutting up. Now she drop kicked him down the stairs. Abby, I cannot stand you sometimes. Oh, I can't stand you sometimes. Anyway, but yes, child. So I told y'all we got a full docket today. Kiss My Cheeks. I see somebody talking about Big Brother. Yes, the cast has been revealed. Kiss My Cheeks is doing a live tonight. I won't be there because I have plans tonight. I won't be home. I'll be outside. But she's going to do a live, probably going through it. So I'll share the link I'll share the link. But yeah, Big Brother is here, honey. Big Brother is here. All right, y'all. I'm gonna talk to y'all later. I think when we come back, we're gonna probably come back and do a couple of reviews, and then I want to do a couple of reviews, and I might have time to do one more video before I have to leave to go out. Not sure, but we'll definitely. I want to try to get the ultimatum. Child, I had to watch the next 2 episodes because them girls was cutting up. And then NYC, Next Gen NYC, I need to get caught up on that. All right, y'all. I will talk to y'all later. Mwah! I think she pushed him in the kitchen or banged his head on the counter or table. I wonder if forensic files should be called. Reels did a final hours. I hope the Big Brother cast has scrubbed their socials. Child, listen, it's already out there now. You already know. But it'll be interesting to see if any of them get kicked out. It'll be interesting to see if anything come back and bite them in the butt, child. All right, talk to y'all later.